Homer was splashing around in the yard wearing only his underwear. Bart and Lisa were also having a great time. Next door, Flanders was praising God at home with a group of churchgoers. Flanders angrily grabbed a purifying leaf, intending to enlighten Homer, but was drenched by Homer splashing water on him. Flanders stormed back home in frustration and told the Reverend that he no longer wanted to save Homer, otherwise he would be the one to die first. The Reverend comforted him, saying that God has never given up on anyone. Watching Homer dancing in the yard, Flanders pondered for a moment and doubted God for the first time. However, the clock on the wall told him that today was not a good day to be angry, so he mustered up his courage again and walked over to Homer, inviting his family as his guests to join them on a trip to Israel to experience the local Christian culture. Homer responded sarcastically that Israel was a desert with no pork and no casinos, and he'd have to squeeze onto buses with a bunch of churchgoers. He couldn't wait to sign up for such an exciting activity. At that moment, Marge heard his mockery and came out. Learning that Flanders was actually willing to take them to the Holy Land, she resolutely decided that the whole family would participate in this trip and pay for it themselves. If God gave Flanders another chance, he would definitely not invite the Simpson family on an outing. As soon as Homer arrived in Israel, he was caught by airport police because he complained that the potato pancakes there didn't taste good. When they arrived at their reserved hotel, Marge was explaining Israeli history to the children when a tour guide appeared and interrupted them. He immediately criticized them for not meeting up on time and wasting precious visiting time. This was a person with a London accent. He said that today they would visit many holy sites and ruin. Marge inquired about safety issues in Israel. The tour guide stated that Israel was the safest country in the world, and as long as they drank plenty of water, they wouldn't die. Marge took out a brochure and was reprimanded by the tour guide. The guide impatiently responded that the brochure was meant to deceive tourists. Homer then appeared, saying they still had a free breakfast they hadn't eaten. Flanders was helpless and had no choice but to agree. Their first stop was Mount Zion, the site of the Last Supper. Flanders devoutly knelt before Jesus to pray, hoping Homer would be enlightened here. Suddenly, Homer walked up to him with a video camera, and Bart even put his feet on Flanders' shoulders. Flanders demanded that Homer at least show some respect, but Homer said he was a tourist from America and didn't need to do that. Flanders seriously asked Homer to turn off the camera. Homer insisted that Flanders make a funny face before he would agree to turn off the camera. Blah. Flanders thought to himself that his sincere prayers had finally moved Homer. However, the next second, Homer's phone ringtone shattered his illusion. Homer didn't care about worship at all. His head was filled with thoughts of eating, drinking, and entertainment. The second stop was the famous Wailing Wall, which Jewish people used to pray and remember their days of exile. Bart casually walked around watching other people suffering, and even saw Homer secretly eating chocolate at night. Homer was so angry that he grabbed Bart by the neck on the spot. Bart was so frightened that he quickly climbed the wall to escape, only to be scolded by the tour guide's niece. Flanders prayed to God before Jesus' tomb, saying he was still willing to give Homer one more chance, but if Homer didn't repent, he would give up on him. However, things developed faster than Flanders had anticipated. He had originally intended to visit the place where Jesus rested, but discovered that Homer was actually lying in Jesus' coffin sleeping. Flanders couldn't tolerate such disrespect. He angrily cursed at Homer, snatched away his camera, and deleted those photos. Homer kept shouting that those were his photos, but Flanders could no longer suppress his inner rage and smashed the camera violently against the wall. Security guards who witnessed the scene dragged Flanders out of the church and put him on a blacklist, barring him from ever entering the church again. Flanders was extremely dejected. No matter how much Homer called out to him, he didn't look back but instead walked toward the desert. Seeing this, Homer worried that something might happen to Flanders, so he mounted a nearby camel and hurriedly chased after him. The next moment, Flanders walked out of a tea shop nearby. Due to a sandstorm, it was impossible to identify directions in the desert. Homer rode the camel searching for Flanders and accidentally fell off the camel, watching it run away.